Viktor Frankl knew you were asking the wrong question. You don't want happiness, not really. You want meaning. But the world keeps selling you smiles, distractions, and shallow comforts. And you keep buying them because you forgot how to suffer with purpose. Let's begin again. Not with what you want, but with what you are willing to endure. 1. Suffering is not the enemy. Meaninglessness is. You suffer, not just from pain, but from not knowing why. The moment suffering has no meaning, it becomes unbearable. But the moment you choose to carry it for something greater, it becomes transformation. Viktor Frankl was imprisoned in a concentration camp. He watched everything stripped away: family, name, dignity, and still he found meaning. Not by escaping suffering, but by turning toward it and asking, what is this trying to teach me? You suffer too, but not always from brutality. You suffer in silence, from boredom, from loneliness in crowds, from scrolling your life away. Not because your life is hard, but because it feels hollow. You ask, why is this happening to me? But Frankl would ask you, what will you do with it? 2. There are only two types of people, not rich or poor, not powerful or weak, not winners or losers. There are only two kinds of people: those who give up and those who choose meaning. Even in the camps, there were men who gave their last piece of bread, and there were others who betrayed for a scrap. Suffering reveals you. It shows what's real and what was just costume. So who are you when everything comfortable is gone? Would you still have something within you? Or would you collapse because your life was built on things that vanish? 3. Stop chasing happiness. Find your why. You think you want to be happy, but happiness is a side effect. It's not a goal. You chase pleasure. You avoid discomfort. You numb the silence. But Frankl said, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. The question is not, how do I feel better? The question is, what is worth suffering for? Is it your child, your art, your beliefs, the people you serve? Because if you don't choose your suffering, it will be chosen for you, and it won't make you stronger. It'll make you hollow. Now, our 4. Dignity is a decision. They took everything from him, but they couldn't take how he responded. That part was his. That part is always yours. Even when they humiliated him, he still stood tall inside. Even when they beat him, he still chose compassion, because dignity is not something others give you. It's something you refuse to let go of. You can be surrounded by cruelty and still remain human. So stop blaming your past, your trauma, your parents, your boss. You are not free from suffering, but you are free to choose your stance toward it. That's where your power lives, right there in that silent space between what happens and how you choose to act. Or 5. Logotherapy. What if therapy wasn't about fixing you? Frankl called it logotherapy. Logos, meaning. Not ego, not self-indulgence, not endlessly talking about your childhood wounds, but asking, what does this pain demand of me? What is life asking from me right now? Not how do I feel better, but how do I rise deeper? Not how do I fix myself, but how do I serve something greater than myself? Your pain is not a punishment. It's a question, and you are the answer. 6. Freedom is not what you think. You think freedom is doing what you want, buying what you want, saying what you want. But that's just consumerism, not freedom. Real freedom is discipline with purpose. Real freedom is the ability to say no, even when no one's watching, to choose the right thing, even when it costs you. Freedom is not comfort, it's responsibility. In the camp, prisoners with no food would share their scraps. That is freedom. Because the guards had power, but no purpose, and Frankl had no power, but all the purpose in the world. 7. Modern comfort is making you weak. You live in a world that says, don't suffer, don't struggle, don't wait, click, swipe, like, everything delivered, everything fast, everything easy. But nothing meaningful ever came easy. Not love, not truth, not growth. If it doesn't hurt, you're probably not evolving. If it's not scary, it's probably not your purpose. So ask yourself, are you choosing the path of least resistance, or the path that actually means something? 8. Your life is the answer to a question. Frankl didn't just survive. He rebuilt, he taught, he loved. He didn't say, life owes me. He said, life is asking me. What is it asking you? What is your suffering trying to make of you? You don't need to invent your meaning from scratch. You need to listen for it, to the whispers in your pain, the weight in your silence, the ache in your heart. Because your life is not random. It's a response to something bigger than you. 9. Don't ask what you want from life. Ask what life wants from you. You've been taught to ask, what do I want? But that's not the real question. Frankl flips it. What does life want from me, right now? In that question, you'll find direction. In that question, you'll find yourself. Not in your comfort, but in your sacrifice. Not in your pleasure, but in your service. Life is waiting for your answer, but it won't shout. It whispers through hardship, through loss, through longing. Will you listen? 10. Choose the redemptive path. You have two options. You can become bitter, or you can become brave. You can see your suffering as meaningless, or as a forge, to burn away the false and reveal the sacred. You don't get to avoid pain, but you get to decide what it makes of you. Will it make you smaller, or deeper, colder, or wiser? Your story isn't over. It's just asking you to participate with courage, with humility, with meaning. Final reflection. You don't need a perfect life. You need a meaningful one. You don't need to be free from suffering. You need to be free within it. You don't need to be happy all the time. You need to become someone worthy of the suffering you've endured. You are not your pain. You are what you choose to do with it. You are not what happens to you. You are who you become because of it. You don't need easier answers. You need a harder question. And then, you need to live as if your life is the answer. Call to interaction. So stop looking for the exit. Start looking for the meaning. Stop numbing the pain. Start asking what it's calling you toward. Your task is not to feel good. Your task is to become good. To become someone who can carry weight, with dignity, with fire, with love. You were not made for comfort. You were made for truth. And the truth is, you can endure anyhow, if you are brave enough to find your why. The question is not, will you suffer? The question is, will you transform? This is the beginning of that path, not to happiness, but to meaning. If you're ready to walk it, subscribe, not to this channel, but to yourself, to the person you were meant to become. And keep going, because the world doesn't need more pleasure seekers. It needs people who carry meaning like a torch in the dark. Be that, become that.